Hi everybody, welcome to Homestead and welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. In this video, well, you just can't make this stuff up. We have another world leader that's passed away. This time it was the last king of Greece. I was looking through Flipboard. Flipboard's a really helpful app for just kind of skimming across all these different news sites and finding new news stories and stuff. I saw this, caught my eye. Why did it catch my eye? Well, you may not have seen it because for some reason not a lot of people watch this video, but we've had a lot of world leaders dying within the last few months, and not just like any typical world leaders. Let's do just a quick recap. Okay, so um, King Constantine II, the one that we're talking about, just passed away yesterday, January 10th. Before that, on the 31st of December, a very interesting date, you have Pope Emeritus Benedict that passed away at the age of 95. And he is the longest living pope of all time. Okay, in 2,000 years, uh, longest living pope, or whenever the first pope was. I know that they have their history, just whatever. According to them, longest living pope. Okay, let's go further back. November 30th, Jiang Zemin passed away, the longest living president of China and leader of the Chinese Communist Party, age 96. Okay, and then let's see where the next one is. Okay, we got President Nelson. Now, in this case, and this is what makes it kind of incredible, is President Nelson had his 98th birthday, or he became 98 on September 9th of this year, of 2022, last year. He is the oldest apostle or prophet of this dispensation. Okay. He's setting all sorts of records. And what's amazing is that he's outliving these people that are basically symbols of their respective nations, or in the case of the Pope, um, the Catholic Church, or you could say the Vatican. The Vatican's a nation, it's a city state. Okay, so there's more. The day before before he turned 98, you had Queen Elizabeth that passed away on the 8th of September at the age of 96. She was the longest reigning British monarch and the second longest reigning sovereign out of all countries that have a monarchy. Okay. Um, the only one that was ahead of her was French King Louis the 14th. And then just a little while before that, on the 30th of August, Mikhail Gorbachev died at the age of 91. He was the longest living leader of the Soviet Union. I've already forgotten, but I think they only had like 7 or 8, but he was the longest living one. And he passed away. Okay. And then there was one more, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. No, maybe not. I guess he was the last one. Now, I put down the exact day that President Nelson technically became the longest living president or apostle. So for president of the church, the 14th of April, 2022. And then for apostle, um, August 8th, 2022, where he passed up David B. Haight. Now, I have those references here. Okay. I have one for when he became all this prophet or president, apostle, and then when he turned 98. And as always, I always put the references over here just to validate my work. You know, this is how you do proper research. You put authoritative sources that others can verify. So I have those here. That's in column Q of my second coming timeline. Okay. So, obviously, Soviet Union, superpower at the time. The United Kingdom, a very strong, very wealthy, powerful country, has lots of influence. And then you have China. Of course, China is on the rise, and it's a power. Um, everyone's worried about China, what China's going to do. They are a power in the world. Excuse me. The Vatican and the Catholic Church, largest Christian church, very powerful, very wealthy. They've essentially been, I think, in a lot of people's eyes, they've been the main Christian church um, since the original church fell away and was lost. They basically took the lead, and I would say it's still that same way today. In fact, let's see, how many Catholics in the world? 1.3 billion with a B. That is big for just one denomination. That's not even all of Christianity. So huge. Now, to be fair, many of those are probably Catholic in name only. They were baptized when they were children, no longer practicing. But nevertheless, uh, I'd be interested to see the number of actual devout followers. My mom's family, they're somewhat devout. At least the older ones are, the ones that are my mom's age. Um, their children not so much. They're just like the rest of Europeans. They just party all the time. They go to soccer games and they go to concerts and they go eat fine food and drink wine and stuff like that. So they're not really, as far as I know, and based on their Facebook and Instagram postings, they're not really religious, but their parents are, which are my aunts and uncles. So, um, anyway, Catholic Church, big, long history, powerful. Okay, and now Greece. Now, ancient Greece, yes, a very, very important historically. You had the Macedonian Empire around the time of Alexander the Great, that was a empire and kind of like a predecessor to the Roman Empire, essentially. Um, so anyway, although the modern state of Greece isn't, I'm not so sure you would connect it really so much to ancient Greece. That was a long time ago. Nevertheless, Greece, I guess, throughout all of history has been important, right? It's been important to European history, world history, philosophy, science, whatever. Well, the fact of the matter is that their last monarch, Constantine II, passed away. Passed away yesterday, as all these other important, or at least these world leaders that come from important, powerful nations and a church pass away. And the amazing thing is that the one that keeps going is President Nelson. And last time I checked, he's looking pretty good. Okay. Now he did have to have a stool when he was talking in General Conference, October 2022 General Conference, but since that time, we've had the Alberta, British Columbia devotionals, and then devotional, sorry, and then one in Nevada. And in neither of those did I see him sitting on a stool while he was talking. He was standing at the podium, seemed just fine. He didn't seem like he was like weary or weathered or anything like that. So only time will tell what happens. I kind of have the secret hope. I've expressed on the channel that I hope that he's the prophet of the second coming and that he's one of the first ones, if not the first one, um, to not die, to go straight from mortality to being resurrected. The twinkling of an eye, going from a translated state into being a resurrected being. Um, and that very well could be the case. Now, something I think I neglected to mention this in my last video where we talked about this whole thing is right now I was like checking all these different countries and stuff, and right now Jimmy Carter, he is the longest living US president. Okay, let's see this one right here. Jimmy Carter just became the oldest living former president ever. That was on March 22nd of 2019. Let's go all the way back here. Here we go, March 22nd, 2019. So this is interesting because uh, this happened during President Nelson's presidency. All these things are happening during President Nelson's time, and President Nelson is passing them all up. We don't know what's going to happen with Jimmy Carter, but let's just say the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if President Nelson um, passes him up. Okay, I don't know, how you feel about it, but look at him right here. Here's Jimmy Carter, and then look at President Nelson. I mean, which one looks better? And of course, just because they look better on the outside doesn't mean that they are. But I mean, I'm feeling like President Nelson is maybe looking a little bit better just on the surface. Okay. Um, let's see. When was Jimmy Carter born? October 1st, 1924. And then President Nelson would have been September 9th. I just want to double check. I like to be sure. When was President Russell M. Nelson born? No, not Calvin Coolidge. How'd you get that? Let's do this. When was Russell M. Nelson born? Yeah, September 9th, 1924. So that's rather interesting. Jimmy Carter is born the next month after President Nelson. And what's also interesting about that is if Jimmy Carter passes away first, that would mean, if we're looking at the symbolism of all this, it's like maybe America, even though, everything's corrupt, we have secret combinations, Gadianton robbers, corruption, da 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 da. Even with all that, I wonder if, just because of America and its history, its legacy, it would be among the last nations to lose its oldest living leader. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. That's yet to be seen. The reason why I wonder if there's some symbolism behind it is because, look at this. Pope Emeritus Benedict, he passed away on the last day of the year in 2022. It's as though if something happens this year, something really good, up to and including the official second coming to the world, or the Jews or whatever, I wonder if they were not meant to, symbolically see that by living into the year 2023. Does that make sense? So let's think about it that way. If something happens this year and symbolically the Lord has them pass away the year before, that would be Pope Benedict, and then Jiang Zemin, however you pronounce that, longest living Chinese president and leader of the Chinese Communist Party, and then Queen Elizabeth, and then Mikhail Gorbachev of the Soviet Union. It would mean that they did not live to see whatever happens in 2023. Is anything going to happen in 2023? I don't know. That's why I have this channel. We just keep watching as interesting things happen, and this is the latest. Is the King of Greece passing away. I should capitalize this. I'm trying to keep everything consistent. There we go. All right, so there you go. That's the news. That's the news. I'm also going to cover in the next video this 7.6 earthquake in Indonesia. This year is getting off to a very interesting start with these California floods and the rain, the arc storm, 7.6 earthquake, last king of Greece dying. It's a lot that's happened. Okay, that should not be April 10th. That should be 10 Jan. Sorry, I don't know. Okay. All right, well, that's going to be it for this one. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also, make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.